and welcome to IRL F2 round 2. It is Italy, the Temple of Speed today. I'm Sondre Sorag, joined by Tyler Thomas for commentary.
Hello.
And Tyler, looking at it, last week's winner, Devin is here again. Do you think he can make it 2 in a row, or are we looking at somebody else to take the win today?
Possibly, not 100% sure, as this is my first time really seeing this field drive, although I know there are quite a few fast people in this tier, so it'll be interesting to see if anyone can challenge.
Indeed. I do see quite a few of them, and I do gotta say that I don't believe Haas got much out of last week, but well, they did actually get second place with Lewis Curtis, but now though with Thomas Traup is here too, they should be a strong lineup for today, and I think those two might be in for a 1-2 or 1-3, a double podium at least. But then there is other drivers here like Rocco Walsh in the Alpha Tauri, so it's going to be interesting to see who's going to come up on top in the end. As for strategy, I'm not completely sure about it. I believe it is soft to medium, if I'm not wrong, Tyler.
I believe so. I'm not 100% sure.
We've both done commentary for one race each this week already on this track, but none of us can remember. However, I do believe it is soft to medium. That is the optimal strategy, at least. I do believe that hard tires feel quite horrendous to be on, but you never know. There is also such things as safety cars that can also change it up, so gonna be interesting to see. As we're right now just currently waiting, I am not sure exactly who we're waiting on, if there is anyone.
There's, I think, people are readying up. Yep,
and
I believe it will be a 12-person grid.
It looks like it, so not the biggest grid here today, but hopefully they'll put on a good show still. As I mentioned, there is quite a few drivers I think we'll see fight for the win today, so hopefully they'll give us a show. Nonetheless, we're going into quali and getting ready for the drivers to set their laps.
Wondering if we will see any rain today.
Ooh.
Rain, especially around this track. This track is difficult enough to drive as it is, but rain definitely makes it more interesting.
It is quite a difficult track as it is, but I would mind getting some rain to be honest. Could spice it up quite a lot. Shake up the grid. As we're just waiting on the drivers to pick their strategy now. As you can see, Louis Vassman in the chat saying good luck to all the drivers. As we are in quali then, and well, I'm just gonna throw you out there, Tyler, and ask for your top 3 prediction in quali.
Ooh, oh geez, I have a feeling, Felix will probably be one of them because he is quite quick around this track, as we saw in the Formula Performance Series. From there, possibly, if he is even in the lobby, Devin. Had to check. I don't know about maybe Ollie. Not 100% sure on that.
No bad shouts there.
Already
I can
got
tell
two on
you
track.
my top 3 prediction for this quali, although I never seem to get them right, so be interesting to see how far off I am right now. But I'm gonna go with it's not as easy as it looks, to be honest, but I'm gonna go with Eisen de Jesus. That would be the driver in the Renault car today. Then for second, I'm gonna go with Rocco Walsh. He's sounded like he was a little shaky earlier today for this track, but I'm gonna put some faith into him. And for third, I'm gonna go with Thomas Traupis as the first driver on track. Should be
Where is his name here? I don't see his name.
I do not need either.
So I'm a D. Followed by should know it. He's in FP.
Kieran MacDonald. That's the first driver we have here in the McLaren. As he is now heading towards the second chicane here. The chicane I can never remember what's called, but after that he's going into Lesmo 1 before he's going through Lesmo 2. And I'm not gonna lie, he's looking very cautious there on his lap, so
He is.
it's looking very clean, but I think it's looking a little too clean, and I don't think it's gonna be the best of laps. However,
That's one thing that's difficult about this track is you want to try to get as much time out of every corner as you can, but you also don't want to risk invalidation because it is very easy to invalidate a lap going around here.
well, I mean, in some sense, yes. There isn't that many corners that is easily invalidated, as we can see that Kieran puts up an 18.9. Lee over line with a 19.4.
Lewis.
As Lewis has invalidated. Eisen has done a 19.2.
Think
Rocco is on a lap. As I almost thought I saw some rain there for a moment. But yeah, for invalidations though, it's really a Scary than running wide in the Lesmos and turn 1. Except for that.
I know an FP we saw I can't remember who it was. I believe it was Lee Kelly who invalidated going across the line because he cut that white line.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You can actually do it there too. Rocco Walsh though, over the line with a 19.2.
So far the top 4 separated by half a second. Not too bad, but
not a lot. As Hugh is coming into Ascari, as Devin has gone on pole. Well, a provisional pole with is it an 18.5? It is. It's almost an 18.6 as Hugh has invalidated his lap. What about Thomas? He's heading in towards turn 1, so we'll follow him on his lap.
Lewis
As
is about to cross the line. And he
and an
goes provisional pole.
18-3 from Lewis Curtis. It's a strong lap from the Haas driver. However, we're back on board with his teammate Thomas Traupis, who is heading towards the Lesmos.
Very tighty through there. And through Lesmo too.
Looked a little better in the Lesmo too, to be honest. Looked like he pushed a little more through there. Nonetheless, though, here comes one of the most crucial corners, Ascari. You can lose so much, but you can also gain so much through this corner, as we see Thomas getting a fairly decent run through there. Then heading down towards Parabolica, the final corner on this track. Is he gonna be able to challenge his teammate for pole, or is it gonna be behind? As the
Seems to
time
go a
is
bit wide
running.
there.
And
he goes second.
And look how close to his teammate he got in the end.
700.
Not a big gap between those two there. However, we have more drivers out on track though, and Mateus Oliveira is heading through Lesmo to right this point, as he is on his first lap. First valid at least. I'm not sure if he's been out earlier this session.
Purple second sector, don't trust that. Ooh.
Trusted that way too many times to run into that trap again. Nonetheless though, into the final corner, looking at his time, it's kind of hard to judge, but I don't think he's far behind the two front runners at the moment. As he's coming towards line, it's going to be an 18.8, which puts him in 5th at the moment, as I didn't notice his lap, but Felix with an 18.8 in 4th at the moment too.
So we still have two that have yet to set times. That is, let me look for the names. Victor Souza
and Hugh. Victor though is out on the lap right now, as he's going through this second chicane, heading down towards the Lesmos. Not looking like he's using enough of the track there, and he's using a little too much in Lesmo too, and that's his lap over. What about Isan, as he's out on lap now? He's heading towards Parabolica, the final corner on track. And looking at his time, it's quite hard to judge, but I think he might be right behind the front runners time-wise right now, as Kieran has gone on into 3rd right now, as Isan has done an 18.9, which puts him in 8th. It looked like he was on for a little more before the line there.
Hugh is about to start his lap, going very slowly into Parabolica.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking about Victor for a moment, so I didn't really understand what you meant about starting a new lap. Better we have him though. Hugh into turn 1, quite crucial to get the line correctly and get enough traction on the exit, as we now can see him going through Curva Grande, heading towards that one chicane. I have no idea what it's called. It's Variante something. As you can see, him cutting quite a lot of it, but also looking quite good through there. Then through Lesmo 1 and into Lesmo 2, as he's going a little bit wide, but it looks like he's gotten away with it, so it can't have been too much. Then down Underbridge and up towards Ascari. And looking quite good through there too. Now let's see. There's one corner left. You can't really lose a lot of time in Parabolica, but you can lose some as he's coming around it and then down towards the finish line. It's going to be a 1:18.7, which puts him very closely together with the rest of the grid in 6th place at the moment. Only level.
The Haas of Lewis was going through a scar and invalidated his lap.
Oh. His teammate is also on a lap though, so we'll jump over to him as he is heading towards Ascari right now actually. Are we gonna see a second Haas invalidation in Ascari on this lap? It looks good. Felix is out, and that is in Ascari, and look at that, he's just planted the car in the wall. Oh, I know the feeling. It's not a good one. However though, Thomas going through Parabolica, can he improve his lap as he comes towards the line? It's going to be a 1:18.366 and a small improvement. And still right behind his teammate. However, most of the well, not most, but a couple of the drivers are out on laps, and we are following Mateus Oliveira right now. One of a couple Brazilian drivers on the grid, if I am not completely wrong. I do believe so.
Yes. He is.
Should be.
He's one of two. Yes.
Yeah, him and Victor Sosa. Then Mateus down towards Parabolica, and I'm not sure if this is going to be an improvement from him. He has an 18.8 so far. Over the line to do an 18.7, so a 1/10 improvement. And maybe 2 positions up actually.
Victor is invalidated his lap going through Ascari, so he has yet to set a valid lap time.
Unlucky, unlucky.
He will have, I believe, if he can get back to the pits in time, he will have 1 shot to get a valid lap in.
We're gonna follow Isan De Jesus as he's coming towards the second chicane on the track here in his Renault with an 18.9 so far. You don't actually need to improve that much to jump quite a lot of positions, so and Victor has just retired, hasn't he? Yeah.
Yes, he has. And he has rage quit.
Okay.
Ooh, he's been getting a bit feisty there through Ascari as he's getting a tow from a car in front of him.
That tow could turn into dirty air through Parabolica though. But he might be getting... he goes right into the pit, so he's decided that the lap was not good enough.
So that leaves the only one out on track.
Devin.
To be Devin.
Last week's race winner. Looking to make it 2 in a row here.
Really wide through Parabolica.
And I think it's straight into the pit for Devin, or maybe not. It's going to be an 18.3 and
second.
That is 100th of Lewis there.
Oh, if he wouldn't have invalidated through, or if he wouldn't have ran wide, that could have been a pole.
Could have been, but the thing is too though that Lewis and Thomas and Kieran all right around Devin there still have 1 lap left to go. Might be more drivers who can improve a lot too, but we are going to go over to Hugh in his Williams as he has just started his lap. and heading down towards turn 1. Corner that can be pretty tricky on traction on the exit. However, looks nice and tidy from Hugh there.
Mounting that curb a little bit on the inside. Don't know if that'll cost him any time.
Could do. Now in towards the Lesmos. 2 corners that I find quite easy, but also quite tricky at the same kind. It's kind of difficult to explain, but
invalid.
Oh, and well, he might be able to get another lap in actually.
Rocco Walsh is the next one to start his lap.
Oh, and it looked
Followed
like a
by
big
Ollie
lock up in turn 1.
Ollie Favel getting held up by the Ferrari of Lee Kelly on his flying lap, so I don't know if that'll do him any favors.
Stewards, here we come.
Lock up into that chicane that I don't know the name of.
You are not alone, Tyler.
Through the second Lesmo nearly invalidates as he slams open the DRS as he runs down under the bridge to Ascari. Can he keep it tight through here and not invalidate?
Up on his time currently, and he
running
has
quite
actually
wide.
not invalidated there, but he's got to have lost some time with that rocky exit though. However, down towards Parabolica and that is way too wide. And we're gonna get a 119 flat from Rocco. What about Ollie? Unlucky for Ollie.
Is the next across the line? I believe that is Lewis.
Well, then we'll pay attention to Lewis as he is the current pole sitter. And look at that, an 18 flat from Lewis. Can his teammate challenge as Thomas slightly improves?
Devin did not time his outlap correctly.
Oh, that is unlucky. What about Mateus? He's coming over the line to take an 18.6. Oh, look at that. Hugh with second place so far. No, wait, Isan, I mean.
Who is left? I believe
it is
Kelly is invalidated.
Oh, wait, he has invalidated.
And Rocco and Ollie have already completed their laps, so I believe that is qualifying complete.
It should be, and at the moment then we're sitting with Lewis Curtis on pole position. Last week, second place in Canada with an 18 flat in quali.
We are just waiting for Ollie to get into his pit box, and there we go.
Well, not gonna lie, I don't think any of us was close with our predictions.
Definitely not.
But anyways, it is Lewis Curtis on pole positions. Then in second place we have Isan De Jesus. Then Devin in third, last week's race winner. Then we have Hugh in fourth. Then Thomas in fifth. Then Kieran in sixth. Then Lee Kelly in seventh. Mateus Oliveira in eighth. Then Felix in ninth. Then Rocco Walsh in 10th, and then Ollie Flavel and Victor Sosa in 10th, in 11th and 12th. As Eric has joined in on the stream with his usual "Let's Go champ," and outside of that too, hopefully few dead bodies at turn 1.
It is raining.
That is very light though, so I think they might be on dry tires still.
Possibly the track doesn't look that wet, but we do not know if it will continue terrain. Because if they are starting on dries, it does seem like it will be, the track will not have very much grip, because the game likes doing that. So it'll possibly not be wet enough for intermediates, but it'll also be wet enough that they will struggle on those soft compound tires.
True, true. And if there is one thing I hate, it is those long races where you have to go on dry tires, but it is raining and you can see them. They are on dry tires.
And there is spray on the track, so that will make it interesting. And you guessed the strategy right, Sandre. It is a soft to medium for the one stop or a soft medium for the two stop. I don't think we'll be seeing any two stops unless it, of course, switches over to the rain period.
I'm not gonna lie, with the track conditions right now, I think the strategy is kind of bingo. I think it can be the regular. There it actually pops up soft to medium, lap 10 to 12 for soft tires then. That's probably the most likely strategy we'll see people do, but then again, ooh,
Lewis spinning out on the formation lap.
Lewis Curtis. Well, that just tells us, Tyler, that the conditions are slippery. And
Karen runs wide in the background.
In this case, it is going to be very interesting to see how the strategy turns out, because if it keeps raining, I mean, if it starts hitting a little more, then obviously we'll probably see them going over to inters. But anyway, do you have a podium prediction, Tyler?
I'm gonna say Devin will probably get the victory again. I think if Hugh can get a good start, he'll jump up into the podium places, and possibly Lewis as well.
Interesting. Well, I know that Lewis can be a little bit of a bottle, unfortunately for him. But I am going to put faith and say that Lewis takes the win. Then in second, I think we'll see Devin. And in third, I'm going to go with Felix, actually. If it starts raining hard enough, Felix has usually been a pretty good wet weather driver, so maybe this can be his miracle podium.
Possibly.
As the yes, very possibly. As the drivers are now lining up on the grid. Well, I have to say though, with these conditions, the start is going to be extremely interesting. We have 5 red lights and away we go, and it looks like a fairly good start from Lewis in on pole. However, Isan has had a horrible start and has dropped down quite far, and look at this, Devin has had a beautiful start up into first but gets a small tap by Lewis.
3 wide into 1.
And look at this, Hugh has managed to get him, is up into third now, but he's getting challenged by Lee Kelly. But then, oh, and look at that, Hugh's a little too wide, and the drivers are definitely struggling with grip here.
Felix already up into 6th.
Well, as I said, wet weather specialist. Oh, as Lewis is struggling on traction, and I see a McLaren in the background struggling a lot with traction too. That might have been Ollie, I think.
I believe so. Victor is just going very slowly down in 12. Or is that his
Look
AI?
at this though. Devin with a commanding lead at the moment. Then you have Lewis trying to chase down that gap again, but Lewis also getting challenged from behind by Hugh, Lee, Thomas, Felix, pretty much the rest of the field there. Out of Ascari, are we gonna see anyone losing it this time? It looks like everyone is getting through. As we're back to the front, and Lewis trying to get himself into that DRS window. Lewis goes a little wide, and he's gonna be under a massive attack from Hugh here, going down the main straight. Lewis with the fastest lap, surprisingly, I would say there. But Hugh, though, it's not looking like he's going for it. He's gonna try, but he's gonna sit behind for now. As Kieran is in the pit for Inter Tires, Tyler.
Oh, that is very interesting, because DRS was just enabled. So I don't think it's wet enough for those inters, so he's
and here comes
struggle.
the timing messing up.
Oh, yep.
Saying Ollie's in first, I do not believe that.
And it's still a bit glitch. Go ahead and switch back, please. It's saying Kieran
still
is
a bit,
first.
yeah. He's clearly not in first. Oh, and look at that! That is Lewis Curtis almost into the wall. I think he's got a little wind damage.
Lost that front and right end plate.
As he's now getting challenged by Lee Kelly in Ascari here, and Lee manages. Oh, and that is Lewis Curtis around.
And he reset to track.
Oh. Look at this though, Devin, he's been pulled back too, or the timing is messed up. I think the timing might be a little messed up here.
I believe it's back
saying a 10th, and there we go, 2 seconds. Alright, so he is still in a commanding lead then. Look at this though, Felix Negvard challenging Rocco Walsh down into turn 1. Rocco on the inside, Felix on the outside. Rocco breaks later.
Lee Kelly down the inside.
And he's managing to stay ahead. However, Felix is going to be right back at him going towards Curva Grande.
Things are getting feisty behind him as Izan is getting challenged by Lee Kelly. Lee Kelly looking for a move. Does not make one.
He's wanting to make one, but I think he's just struggling like everybody else and probably not risking a too big dive in these conditions. Thomas Traup is though the second Haas car getting closer to Hugh here, going down towards Ascari, closing in as they head into Ascari. What about the battle behind? There is nobody looking for a move right now. So Rocco Walsh is looking like he's trying to just pull this field with him. Well, he's probably trying to drop them, to be fair, but
stuck in the DRS train.
Not happening at the moment. However, Thomas Traup is though with a good parabolica, and look at this, he's gonna go for the move on Hugh into turn 1, and Thomas Traup has done the move way before. What about further down the field? We can see Felix still within DRS on Rocco. However, Izan has lost DRS on Felix. Lee trying to challenge Izan there, but almost goes deep.
Oh, as Lee Kelly loses it.
He does a little, and he's going to be passed by Mateus Oliveira here then. As I think it is fair to say, Tyler, that the conditions are not looking like they're improving at the moment.
Definitely not.
It's still raining, but the rain is still very light, which means that the Inter tires does not look like the tires to go on. As we see Lewis Curtis, he went into the pit and he went on a set of mediums. That is a little early for mediums, so that could signal that we're getting heavier rain later on in the race.
Possibly. I know he did have that wing damage, so he possibly hit in for that replacement.
Let's see then.
Kieran is still struggling with those inters for some reason.
Well, he probably should be. Actually, saying that though, he is catching on the car ahead of him. Hugo on Thomas Traupis. He's just gonna stay behind for now. Same with Felix. However, Mateus Oliveira though trying to move on. Izan here on the inside in turn one. Lee has overshot the chicane. Has had to cut it in the end. While Mateus has managed to make the move on Izan here. In the lead we can see Devin 3.5 seconds ahead of Thomas Traupis now.
Absolutely waltzing away with this.
And look at the gap between Kieran in 11th on the Inters. He's catching quite quickly now, I believe. He
is catching the AI
and if we
of
look
Victor.
on the split between leader and down team, he is catching on Devin right now too. Not a lot right now.
It might be just wet enough.
I think we're definitely getting close to it being wet enough at least. As Hugh still just stays behind there, we can see Felix, Mateus, everybody just a little sitting in the line here. Lee Kelly goes into the pit. Is this gonna be to test out a set of Inter tires?
It looks like it.
It is, so maybe it is time then. We can see that Kieran is still catching. He's not catching massively, but he's catching on the car's head, and it looks like it's mostly in the braking and traction zones. As he's now 27.9 behind Devin in the lead. At the same time though, those tires doesn't look great everywhere.
Definitely. As he is catching the ghosted car of Victor. That will be a pretty easy overtake.
Oh, the easiest one there is. As Thomas Traupis looks like he's dropped Hugh now. DRS is still enabled, and actually looking at it right now, Kieran is actually catching, but he's not really losing time either, so
roughly about
difficult to say what tires is the best right now.
As Kieran.
Oh, maybe it's not that difficult to say now.
That's something I've never seen before. A fastest lap on Inters.
And look at this, Hugh now getting closer to the back end of Thomas again.
Lewis, 5-second time penalty.
And I wonder, with you setting that fastest lap on Inters, and currently he's catching on Devin now. Maybe it is time to get the Inter tires on. Let's see what is Devin gonna do. As we can see that Thomas Traupis
losing it a little bit through Ascari, and Hugh is right on the back end of him. You should be able.
But let's see that Lewis Curtis has gone in for Inters too. Devin stays out. He doesn't believe the Inters is the right tire yet. Same with Thomas and Hugh.
Hugh opens his DRS. Can he? Doesn't seem he'll be able to make the move. He locks up Lee Kelly, and another time penalty.
Oh, another driver in for Inters possibly. Yes, it is. Isan in for Inters. Ollie Flavel goes into. That will probably also be for Inters.
It appears like it. It seems to be the switchover point.
Looking at it, if we look at Kieran now, he should have caught about a second in the last lap and a half around there on Devin on his soft tires, so that's certainly starting to look ready for them. Let's see. Devin heading towards Parabolica again. He is losing time to the Inter runners now. Will he pit though? Actually, another factor is, will the Inter tires make it to the end from here, you think?
I'm not 100% sure. It might be a two-stop for inners, which is why Devin might be trying to stretch the softs. But that could also cost him time, because I believe Kieran is within the time needed to possibly pass him, if not come out, or if not Devin to come out just in front of him. If he were to pit right now.
But then again, if Kieran's tires won't go to the end, then it won't really matter for him. And that might be why we're seeing the top 6 there still on the soft tires, although the Inters clearly seems better right now. Well, clearly and clearly. They seem better, but it's not by a mile either.
I'm wondering if the top 6 are waiting for the leader to peel in before they decide to also peel in. Which in that case it will be interesting because both Williams are in that top 6. And if they both hit at the same time, they'll be double stacking, and that's a sure way to that one of them is going to be screwed in the end.
Yeah, not gonna lie, one of them are probably gonna have to pit on the lap they don't want to. As Lewis Curtis now sets the fastest lap on his Inter tires. As the gap down is getting smaller and smaller, but Devin still stays out. And I will have to admit right now, I do think it is more about getting those soft tires to that point where the Inters can go to the end.
DRS still enabled. So the track still isn't extremely wet.
True. But then again though, the Inter runners are still catching right now. Is Mateus Oliveira starting to get close to the rear end of Felix there?
4th, 5th, and 6th, they're all coming close together. Lewis, 3-second time penalty. Oh, and there's a yellow flag, and that's Lewis.
Lewis is out, and that is in the Scary.
And VSC.
Oh, VSC. This is going to be a tough choice then. Let's see if we can get a view of where Lewis is as we're following Devin here. I can't see Lewis right now.
I believe it is in the same place. Oh, right in the middle of the track. So he crashed in roughly the same place that Felix did in quali.
Oh,
will we see the top 6 pit?
Unlucky for Lewis Curtis, he will not be following up last week's great second place with another podium as DRS is enabled, but Devin goes into the pit.
What does Thomas hits the inside wall as Hugh jumps him.
Interesting. What about Rocco Walsh? Rocco Walsh into the pit. Felix Neguar into the pit. Mateus. Everybody's peeling into the pit.
Mateus is gonna get screwed because of the double stack.
Oh,
as
no.
Hugh jumps Devin.
Oh no, look at this. Devin has chosen to go out on fresh soft tires.
As Kieran jumps up into first. And Hugh switches to the Inters.
Everybody's on the Inters now except for Devin, Thomas and Mateus.
Earned mediums.
Yeah, but Devin has gone on the softs. What has he been thinking right now? He cannot go to the end on those tires.
Definitely not.
They
And
don't look like they're the quickest tires at the moment, with the guys on the Inters pulling on the other guys.
Does seem like the rain is starting to get a little bit heavier.
I'm not gonna lie, I can't see much difference on the rain yet.
Oh, 3-second time penalty for Kieran.
However, Devin is staying with Hugh here though. This is weird to look at. You see two guys battling, almost being equal pace right now. One on Inter tires and one on soft tires.
Oh, as I just lost the gap information. That is nice.
I
As
have
Kieran's
as well.
pitting.
Oh,
That puts Hugh into the lead.
Well, he's gonna go to the end from here then, and he goes over to
another set of intermediates.
As
Devin dives down the inside.
Look at this though, Devin down the inside on Hugh. However, he can't get the move going though.
He does not have the traction out of that corner. As you can see, his back end wiggles. So the inners are clearly better in the traction zones.
Oh, they certainly look like it. But look at this though, Devin, he's gonna try again into this second chicane.
He backs up.
And he stays behind. I will have to say though, he's doing an amazing effort on those soft tires. But imagine this though, Thomas, driving a whole race in conditions where the dry and intermediate tires are almost equally paced. Can't be fun.
Certainly not.
Dry tires probably a little too slippery from not having any grip. The Inter tires probably getting a little slippery from maybe getting high temperatures. I feel bad for these guys. However, look at this, Devin. Looking at making the move into Parabolica on Hugh. However, he might have lost DRS for the start-finish straight though.
He has
lost it. Which means that move in other words then was pointless. As we're gonna see Hugh take back that first place into turn 1. Devin dropping down to second again. We can see Rocco and Felix not too far behind, trying to chase down the front two.
Hugh has almost 80% ERS to work with, whereas Devin only has just over 30%. From pushing.
True, and actually looking at that, that could be some of the reason why Devin is still staying with him. Then he could be using a lot of his ERS on the straights to make sure that he stays close enough to not lose too much in the corners. As we can also see, actually, Black Phoenix, he is getting a little closer in the background there.
I believe that is why.
But look at this though, Devin into Ascari, takes back the position from Hugh.
Devin using nearly all of his ERS down that straight, as he was using
and
ERS
look at this,
whole
Hugh.
time.
Hugh is gonna come back on him. However, I don't think Hugh is gonna make the
Devin
move
is now out of
into
ERS.
Parabolica. He's gonna sit behind. He's gonna make sure that he gets DRS for the start-finish straight, and with a good run here, he should surely get back into first place.
He runs
He
extremely
actually
wide.
goes very wide there. However, he's still not that far behind, and he should be able to make the move as Devin is almost out of ERS going down into turn 1. Hugh on the outside, Devin still in first place, manages to keep the position.
As Hugh beats him on traction, not necessarily.
I will have to say it though,
single-digit ERS.
Devin is fighting way too hard for that position. He barely has any DRS to play with. And we can see Rocco in the background getting even closer. And if Devin can't manage to save up any ERS soon, he's going to feel very helpless on the straight in a few laps.
Devin is pushing those softs, I feel, way too hard. He might have to end up pitting sooner than he anticipated. He's now down to 5% ERS.
He's getting a little back in the braking zone into Ascari though, as he's actually almost breaking DRS with Hugh. However, with Hugh having so much ERS though, you can see him getting closer as soon as he starts to use some on this straight going into Parabolica.
Devin will run out of ERS down this straight to defend.
And look at this now. Can Devin defend into turn 1? He's already run out of ERS.
He is out of ERS.
And you can see Hugh catching
Does he make a
a
dive?
lot of times, but
He's
he's gonna stay behind. But he's gonna pressure Devin through Curva Grande now. As Black Phoenix has almost gotten himself back into this battle, but he's struggling to just catch those last 5/10.
I feel as though Hugh, because Devin will have to pit again, I don't believe Hugh has to pit again. So I'm not sure it is worth Hugh to keep fighting for this position.
But that's the thing though, I don't think he is fighting too hard for it. He's just making sure that Devin keeps the pace up. And he's also, of course, pressuring Devin to use up all of his overtake. While Hugh is then just sitting behind, enjoying his time right now.
So he pops a 3-second time penalty for cutting that last part of Ascari.
Could be crucial. We can see if Black Phoenix, that would be Rocco Walsh in the background, who's chasing after these two. He's used quite a lot of ERS too.
Devin is once again going to run out of ERS down this straight.
That is very early as he's run out of ERS. As Hugh is catching, but Hugh, I just don't think Hugh is going to go for a move there.
I believe he's just pressuring Devin enough to keep the pace up, but he did not use a single percentage of ERS down that straight.
Well, he knows that Rocco and Felix, who are the closest to competitors at the moment, are not within DRS range. He knows Devin have to pit again, as even if he doesn't get whether at any point Devin is still on his second set of soft tires. So Hugh knows that he is in a good chance for a win today. Rocco though still not giving up, still trying to edge within DRS range. I will have to say though, Tyler, I do feel bad for these drivers. 16 laps in these conditions already.
Oh yeah, these are definitely races like this where it's not wet enough for, not really wet enough for wet tires, but it's way too wet for dry tires. As Devin finally peels into the pits.
And what is it gonna be for this time? Is it gonna be inters or is it gonna be mediums?
It's looking like mediums.
So he does not trust the inter tires then. And now what are Hugh gonna do? Is he gonna push a little more now because he knows that he has that penalty? I'm not sure about Rocco.
I don't want to check race director because I want to be surprised.
Agreed.
So Hugh has to push because as it stands right now, if I can get the correct. As it stands right now, he will finish 2/10 ahead of Felix. With that penalty, if neither Rocco nor Felix has penalties.
Oh, I see.
So he has to push as hard as he can without accumulating another 3-second time penalty. So he runs wide out of the exit of Ascari. Rocco is slowly but surely catching him.
Yes, and we gotta remember
more than 2/10 that straight.
Rocco was keeping the same pace as Hugh and Devin And now Hugh, of course, don't have that DRS to rely on. He's gonna have to use his ERS to stay ahead on the straight. And look at this Rocco getting really close to that DRS zone now. Just over a second behind. Hugh
Felix
going
is now within
into
that.
the braking zone.
Felix is now within that penalty range.
Is
Yellow flag, sector 3.
and that is Lee Kelly, I believe.
That is.
But look at this though. Rocco Walsh is inside the DRS range now. And Felix is not too far away from that DRS range either.
Felix is well, Felix has to just watch this unfold as he prays that they fight so he can catch up and swoop in.
That is his best chance at the moment. However, he's slightly catching as Rocco has fallen just outside the DRS range again. However,
Still
that
has DRS
is helping him to make sure that he stays within it though. But he might end up not having it on the long straight.
He's using a lot of ERS to try to catch it. I think he just got.
I think so too. But however, though, further down in the field, we have a battle right now. It's Kieran on Mateusz, heading down towards Parabolica. Kieran edging. Oh, as Rocco is into the pit.
Is he going on dries?
Is it dries or is it a new set of
no,
inters?
it's another. Oh, he has a penalty. He has a stop-go penalty.
Interesting. Nonetheless, though, going into turn 1, Kieran is going to try it on Mateusz on the outside. It looks like he's going to get the move done, and actually looking at this battle with both on similar amount of wear, we can see that the inters does look better. However, there is not a big gap between the inters and dry tires.
Mateusz with a 3-second time penalty as he nearly loses it out of that corner.
Ooh.
F1 2020 with bad camera angles, so I couldn't see if he hit the wall or not.
I don't believe he did. He did lose time though.
If Felix has no penalties, he will win this race by nearly a second.
That is a good point. However, I just have a bad feeling I saw Felix pick up a penalty earlier in the race. I'm not completely sure, but
Felix is peeling in.
And actually, looking at it, Ollie Flavel is making the move on Lee Kelly down towards Ascari. Could it be, though, that the Inter tires are just wearing too much right now, Tyler, for them to go to the end?
Possibly, because we just saw Felix pull in for another set. It might be the tire temps.
Could be, it could be. However, Felix went on a new set of Inters, so he doesn't think that the Inters was the wrong tire.
He drops down to 6th.
Oh, but look at this though, Felix almost made an overcut work on Devin. Devin, who is still on dry tires on his medium tires. Felix is within DRS range on him.
It seems like no, there's still light rain. I can just barely see the particles on my screen, but it looks as almost if it's nearly come to a stop. Devin, 3-second time penalty.
Oh, that could hurt him a lot. Felix though, he is well. Felix has overcut Phoenix, but Rocco, I mean, but Rocco did have that penalty. I believe you said so. But look at this, Felix Neguar on Devin, heading down towards Ascari. He's gonna go for the move as he backs out. No wait, Devin backs out, I mean.
I don't think Devin has enough confidence in the grip of those mediums to send it down the inside.
I gotta be honest, I think the Inters are getting quicker and quicker now against the medium tires, as we can see that Hugh is into the pit for a new set of Inters. Thomas takes the lead now. Still on
followed by
those
Kieran.
medium tires though.
Rocco with a 21 or a 28.
28.5 from Rocco as
As Kieran is now within
Hugh
a second.
comes. Hugh came out right behind Felix, which means Felix has done a masterful outlap.
Kieran challenging for the lead on Thomas.
There's a lot of cars close together now. We have Rocco on Devin too.
Rocco picks up another time penalty.
And look at Hugh on Felix. He's right on the tail of Felix there. As they head through Lesmo 2 and down towards Ascari. What about the cars ahead? Kieran getting closer to Thomas, but he's not passing him yet. As Hugh's gonna stay behind Felix through Ascari.
Felix catching Mateus quickly.
He's catching him very quickly right now, so I do not think it's a question anymore. The Inters are definitely the faster tire. But with just
Kieran
5 laps to go though.
And looks to make a move down the inside of turn 1, but backs out.
However, Hugh is going to be making a move on Felix into turn 1 as he takes away that 4th place from Felix. Rocco still ahead of Devin here, we can see, and Devin, I feel so bad for that driver now. He's got to realize.
He's taking the lead.
Oh, as you're right, he has. But where has he done it? Around Curva Grande, maybe?
I believe he's done it out of the chicane. He might have gotten better traction through there.
And look at this, Hugh and Felix both right on the back of Mateus now.
Three-way battle for that final podium position.
Oh, I do not think this is for the final podium position. I do think these guys are still in the fight for second. Thomas is 4 seconds up the road, but the Inter tires clearly looks better. As look at this,
overtakes his teammate.
Gets past his teammate. Felix does not, but is he gonna be able to get him down into Parabolica? We can see Rocco in the background inside the RS range too. Mateus is gonna fight for this position. He knows he has his teammate right ahead. Mateus stays ahead of Felix.
Try to keep the DRS.
Is Mateus gonna pit though? No, he's just gonna stay out as he takes the fastest lap. But Phoenix Rocco takes the fastest lap now.
Has spun out again and lost his entire front wing, and that's a VSC.
And it's a virtual safety car, and Felix is lucky he got past before.
As Hugh nearly stopping on track to keep his Delta safe.
However, this could be great news for Thomas that is struggling on his medium tires though.
As 8th, 9th, and 10th are all in the pits. Ollie going on to another set.
Oh,
Felix with the drive-through. Speeding under the VSC.
It's a gaze of the bottle of the season we've seen here. Felix getting a drive-through during this VSC, which means he's out of the fight for 3rd place, possibly 2nd place, and possibly even 1st place with Kieran being on those 10-lap old Inters now. And knowing Felix, I can just sense the frustration from him right now. As now, what about Mateus? Mateus is gonna have to defend from Rocco Walsh now. Heading through Parabolica, Rocco is looking to make the move on the straight.
His drive-through.
Rocco goes for the outside lane. He's gonna have this move easily going into turn 1. As Lee is out, and it's a safety car. And Felix is practically saved by this.
As he comes out just in front of the safety car. The safety car comes out just behind him.
Talk about luck. However, somebody who is really out of luck then is Thomas Traupis, who's in second.
As
Still
well
about
as
5
Kieran.
seconds. And Kieran too, actually, on those old little tires. It's going to be difficult for him to keep the likes of Hugh and Phoenix behind him. Rocco.
Will we see the medium runners pit?
Yes. I mean, they've seen how much better the Inter tires are. There is gonna be a cup, 2 laps left of racing after the safety car, probably.
I believe it will come in next lap.
Let's see.
They
Kieran
might have
in
less
the
than
lead.
a lap under behind the safety car, because that usually sends them with 3 laps to go.
Yes.
So can Felix catch this group quick enough? See, right now he is 14 seconds behind Devin. As the safety car is parked waiting for everyone to catch at Curva Grande. Devin, 5-second time penalty for speeding into the pit lane under the safety car. Kieran goes on to softs.
That is a mistake if you ask me. Thomas though, deciding to stay out, taking the risk on those old medium tires.
That
Luckily
puts
for
Felix
him.
up into 6th.
Luckily for Thomas Traupis, this safety car isn't going to stay out much longer. Hugh and Rocco are probably going to pass him quite quickly on the restart, but
As only the top 4 right now are behind the safety cars, everyone from 5th down is speeding to try to catch that safety car before it goes in.
indeed, indeed. However,
Felix
Kieran
might
though
just
pitting
make
in
it.
for soft tires.
Safety car in this
Safety
lap.
car is in this lap.
As Kieran just catches the back. Felix will just catch this back group. As I don't believe Ian, Devin, Ollie, or the Ghost. Or well, the Ghost car is in first, apparently. Or in second. Ollie will not be able to catch this group.
He will not, and neither will Devin or
Felix just catches it. Oh, they might just catch onto the back of it, as they do. They do just reach the back of this train.
They do. Just about.
As Thomas goes.
Thomas goes, but he's being hunted by he. Oh, and what's happened?
Kieran loses it into the pits.
Ah, unlucky for Kieran as he's out of the race
wide.
now.
It was 3 wide. Felix up in 5th. As he loses the place to Devin.
Look at this though,
Yellow flag,
Hugh
sector
challenging Thomas here. He knows that this is for the win. He wants that position. It's 1 lap left after this one. We can also see Rocco trying to challenge Ethan into this second chicane here.
As Hugh
Look at this,
is
Devin
going to
up
go
into
down the
5th.
inside at Lesmo 2.
Oh, that is a
and he
bold
pushes.
move, but he manages to get it done though. A little bit of contact between him and Thomas. They're still in first and second though, but look at this. Rocco has
There will be
passed
no
Isan
DRS.
and he's now looking feisty on Thomas there.
There will be no DRS to save them. As 3rd through 7th are all, or 3rd through 6th, they're all battling it out as they go 3 wide into
Oh, and look at
Parabolica.
this, Rocco Walsh defending himself for his life as they're heading on to the main straight. And can Rocco stay ahead? He should have.
as Felix goes down the
Slipstream
inside
from
of Devin.
Thomas. And look at this. This is chaos now going into turn 1. Isan trying to go on the outside of Rocco. Has he managed to do it? It looks like Thomas is losing traction on his medium tires there. This is
And he
creating
holds it up.
chaos. As Isan has managed to get through these guys and is now trying to pull away from them.
3rd through 6th, all separated by about a second, if not 2.
They are in the
As
meantime.
Matthias hits the wall in the background.
Oh, unlucky for him. But look at Hudo, he's managing to just cruise away from the rest of these as Devin is now attacking Thomas Traupisser down towards Ascarif. Rocco Walsh right in the background looking to get a position or two here too.
Locks up into Ascari but gets the move done.
Oh, and look at this, Rocco right on the back of Thomas. Thomas struggling in Ascari. Felix gets through too. However, we're gonna go to the front of the field as Hugh Mongoose is about to go around Parabolica to take his first win of the season around Monza, the Temple of Speed. Over the line, and Isan takes the win on penalties. Felix up into second, Thomas up into third, Rocco in 5th, David in 6th, Matthews in 7th. Then I believe it was Ollie Flavel in the end in 8th.
Driver of the day, Felix Naguar. From 9th on the grid, I believe it was. Yes.
Well, I did say it. He's usually a fairly good driver in wet weather conditions. He does deliver
that safety
even after
car,
that drive-through penalty that he got.
That safety car coming out at that exact time saved him.
As we see that it is Isan De Jesus who takes the win here today.
Incredible race.
Oh, wait. Isan De Jesus might still be in for a DSQ as well, Tyler.
Oh.
As he rejoined after lagging out.
Oh,
which means that he might have been able to corner cut without getting warnings.
Oh.
However, if he's managed,
I noticed him leave.
I did not notice that either. But that means that he will have to send footage to show that he has been able to get warnings and penalties after he rejoined. If not, he will have a DSQ.
And the victory will be handed to Felix.
The meathead himself. Or I'm gonna suggest podium drivers to you. And who was third place again? I'm trying to remember. Was it you? No, it was Tom's. Possibly second. It depends if he has his footage and can show that he got warnings or penalties after he rejoined. Then he's in the clear. But if he can't, then you have
He
pulled
gets
off
reported.
a magic victory in the end.
Well, I think.
But I'm gonna
Tom...
bring some corruption into the picture to make sure that you don't get that wing. So don't worry.
I think Tom will send in his reports as well because he felt like he got shoved up into turn one. So.
Does E
So we will.
on?
Yeah, I missed him. Give me a moment. Yes, you do that actually. Be helpful.
I am.
I
There you
invited
go.
Thomas.
Suggested him.
Alrighty, there we go. So I've invited both suggested players, now we just gotta wait.
Well, we'll wait for a few moments to see if they join or not.
Otherwise, we'll just interview Felix 3 times.
I think
Do
it's
me as
enough
first
with
and
one
second,
time.
as it's unsure. Do as if it was first or second.
You
Just
don't
go
tell
back
me
and
how
edit
to
the
do
video
my
later.
job, Felix.
Just a
Just-
suggestion. Calm down.
We'll just go back and edit the video later and edit out whichever one it is.
However, so far it does not look like we're getting either Thomas or Isan in for interviews.
Well then.
Well, in that case, we'll just go ahead with Felix then. And first of all, Felix, congratulations on second place. A second place that could end up being the win. That is still unsure, but we will figure out that later this week. And we'll start off with quali. Because I know you would love to talk about that, Will, won't you?
From all the things there was in this race, you want to talk about quality. Sure.
I want to talk quite a lot about quali today.
Yeah, well, it was forecasted that the race was going to be wet, so everyone put their wet setups on. I took quite a gamble going with 2.5 wings actually, because I wanted to have that straight line speed, because I knew how frustrating it could be in the race with, being stuck behind another driver in the wet without the DRS and without a major straight line speed advantage. So yeah, I went with 2.5. Car felt actually quite good still, but then for some reason on the second lap I not only invalidated, but then I just mounted the curb out of Ascari completely idiotic, and yeah, the snap of oversteer then got me into the wall. But luckily, due to the fact that we were only 12 people, I was still P9 for the start.
Well, P9 nonetheless. Had a pretty good start in the end, but in the race though, Felix, as you said, you guys knew it was gonna rain, but it didn't rain that heavy though. Like, how was those opening laps on the dry tires?
Not gonna lie, really, really tricky, especially with being no assists on a wheel was not the best thing. But luckily I was on the soft compound, so that helped me quite a bit. It was all the time more or less of a crossover period in between inters and softs or slicks, but mediums were too low for temperatures, so they didn't really get the grip. But yeah, then the softs and inters were pretty much equal. The inters were slightly quicker, but they wore out quite quickly, so I was expecting to go to the end after my first pit stop, but then yeah, I realized after 7 laps I had 50% on my tires, so yeah, that couldn't go anywhere near to the end. So we all had to make another pit stop. Rocco's luckily bottled a little bit as he sped into the pits. And yeah, the conditions in general were very tricky, but it felt quite good on the inters, to be fair.
Well, since you're mentioning some another driver bottling a little, then we won't skip away from your bottle.
Oh yeah.
So one of the most experienced IRL drivers on the grid here today. You get his
Yeah.
virtual safety car. What do you do?
I think I think that never happened to me in my entire league racing career. That never happened to me a single time that I sped under the VSC. But today I slowed down before the chicane because I knew the delta would drop massively as soon as I go through there. But I took a bit of a gamble, thought maybe it ends just at the right time, but it just didn't. Sped by half a tenth, and then I thought, oh, nah, I want to say the S word. Damn it. Let's put it that way. I thought, damn it, that's my race over. And then after my race being ruined by 3 safety cars so far in this game, I had the biggest luck of all time going into the pits, and then in that exact moment the safety car comes out. Huge cheers to Leroy for crashing.
Huge.
If he would have been in a party with us, I would have told him how much I loved him in that situation. But that brought me completely back into the game, and yeah, was very lucky in that situation. In the end, I knew I had no pens. I know the only one I had to watch out for was Tom, who was in a party with us, who was on mediums. He was really struggling with those tires. It was pretty much impossible to actually set good lap times with those tires. He did an incredible job. He would have deserved that win as well, but yeah, in the end I knew I just I had to get in front of Tom and then stay within 6 seconds. And luckily on the last lap I got past Tom as he had no grip whatsoever anymore. And yeah, I was I was very sure that I would take the win on disqualifications and everything in the end, because I knew Energy rejoined the session, and he didn't have any pens, and I can barely imagine that he didn't get any warnings or whatsoever throughout the entire race. And he said he didn't know in the chat that he wasn't allowed to rejoin. So yeah, if it is P2 in the end, I'm still incredibly happy with that. But a win would be just out of this world.
Indeed, indeed. However, though, there's more races this season. If you don't get that win today, however, if he does not have proof of on actually getting warnings and penalties after he rejoined, then you'll get your win now. But next week we're heading to Belgium, and if I recall pretty correctly, that has usually been a strong track for you in the past. So, how do you feel about next week?
Oh, very much looking forward to it, to be honest. I enjoy the track very much on this game.
Also,
And,
closest thing to a home race you have this season too?
That is true. Like, together with Zandvoort. Although I actually don't know how close that is to my hometown, like in terms of distance, but it's definitely one of the 2 tracks that are closest to a home race. So yeah, I'm pretty much looking forward to it. And yeah, I'm actually very surprised that my pace has somehow come back on this game. I'm very glad it has, and I feel like I'm not dead slow anymore. So I'm very happy to actually be more or less competitive. Race 1 was already quite good, bottled it on pens though, but now I get that consistency together more or less, more and more with the time progressing so far. And yeah, it would be great to maybe get another top 5 finish next week. Would be amazing, and it seems like this time I'll have to carry the team while Brannan's not even here. So yeah, he's got some pressure on his shoulders now to show that he's the #1 driver.
I'm not gonna lie, you're the one with pressure here, as you're looking to get yourself into a championship fight. Nonetheless, any questions from you, Tyler?
Not really.
Not really, but in that case, I'll just say congratulations on P2, possibly P1 today, Felix, and good luck for next week.
Thank you very much.
And with that, I don't know if you have anything more you would like to add today, Tyler?
Yeah, no.
Well, don't worry, you don't have to add anything. But with that, this has been IRL Season 8 F2 Round 2 around Monza. It was a spectacular race in the end with horrible conditions. But nonetheless, if you want to watch any more action, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Next race will be IRL F3 and F5 tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. With that, we hope to see you next week again. Good night.